The way you live one day is the way you will live your life. That single sentence carries within it the weight of destiny, because a life is nothing more than a collection of days. People often look at their goals, their dreams, their futures as though they are far away, as though they will one day suddenly appear in a moment of magic or luck. But the truth is far more powerful. The truth is that your future is being built right now, in the small, ordinary choices you are making today. If you want to know who you will become, don't look at your vision board, don't look at your 5-year plan, don't look at your desires. Look at your day, look at how you lived from sunrise to sunset, because that is the blueprint of your future. Most people underestimate the power of a single day. They think, it's just today, I'll start tomorrow. But tomorrow is built out of todays. If you waste today, you are training yourself to waste tomorrow. If you give in to laziness today, you are rehearsing for a lifetime of laziness. If you neglect your health, your work, your dreams today, you are creating a pattern that repeats itself over and over until you wake up years later and wonder where your life went. That's how most people lose. They don't lose in one dramatic failure, they lose one ordinary day at a time. On the other hand, those who succeed do not succeed because they had some secret advantage or because they suddenly stumbled upon success. They succeed because they learned to master their days. They understood that the day is the unit of life. And if you can master the day, you can master the year, the decade, the lifetime. Greatness is not built in a flash of brilliance, but in the quiet repetition of disciplined days stacked on top of each other until they form a monument of achievement. Think about your heroes, think about the people who inspire you. None of them became who they are in one night. Every book that changed lives was written one page at a time, one morning at a time. Every champion trained not for one game, but for years of mornings, workouts, and sacrifices. Every visionary built their empire one decision at a time, one disciplined day at a time. Behind every extraordinary life is an ordinary day lived with extraordinary commitment. The way you live one day reflects everything about you. If you wake up and chase distraction, then distraction will become the pattern of your life. If you wake up and feed excuses, excuses will govern your future. If you rise with clarity, discipline, and gratitude, then those same qualities will build your destiny. Because life is not waiting for you in some distant future. It is happening right now, and what you do with today is proof of how you will handle every tomorrow. This is why small habits matter so much. The little things you do today may feel insignificant. Waking up early, journaling your thoughts, exercising, eating healthy, reading even a single page, meditating for a few minutes. None of these seem life-changing in isolation. But when repeated day after day, they shape your character, they sharpen your mind, they strengthen your body, and soon, you become someone different, not because you did something massive one day, but because you did something small every day. People love to dream about the future. They say, one day I'll be successful, one day I'll be wealthy, one day I'll be happy, one day I'll change. But there is no one day waiting for you on the calendar. There is only this day, and this day is enough. If you give your full effort to today, if you win the hours in front of you, then success will not be a distant dream. It will be a natural result of how you live. The danger is thinking you can live carelessly today and then somehow transform tomorrow, but your habits will follow you. If you waste time today, you will waste it tomorrow. If you doubt yourself today, you will doubt yourself tomorrow. If you procrastinate today, you will procrastinate tomorrow. Change does not begin in the future. Change begins in this very moment. The life you want is hidden inside the choices you make right now. So ask yourself, how are you living today? Are you giving your best? Are you using your time wisely? Are you treating the people around you with respect and love? Are you building habits that serve your future? Or are you feeding habits that will destroy it? Because the truth is, success and failure are not opposites. They are both the results of daily choices. One path is discipline, the other is neglect, and the path you walk today is the life you will live tomorrow. There is an old saying, how you do anything is how you do everything. And nothing reveals that truth more clearly than a single day. If you can't keep promises to yourself today, you won't keep them in the future. If you can't focus on your goals today, you won't suddenly gain focus later. If you don't have gratitude, love, or patience today, you won't magically have them in years to come. The life you want must be practiced daily, just like a musician practices scales, just like an athlete practices drills. Every day is practice for your future. Every day is training for your destiny. One of the greatest tragedies is when people waste their days waiting for a breakthrough. They sit and wait for luck, for opportunity, for the universe to open a door. But opportunity doesn't come to those who wait. It comes to those who prepare, and preparation happens in the ordinary rhythm of daily life. Every time you study instead of scrolling, every time you work instead of wasting time, every time you choose discipline over comfort, you are preparing. And one day, when opportunity knocks, you will be ready, not because of luck, but because of how you lived your days. Think of your day as a seed. Each morning you plant it. What you water it with discipline, positivity, focus, love will determine what grows. If you water it with excuses, negativity, distraction, then weeds will grow. And just like a seed, you cannot see the results immediately. But over time, your days grow into weeks, your weeks grow into months, and suddenly your entire life is a harvest of the choices you made each day. You reap what you sow, and you sow every morning. And remember, a day is not something to be endured, it is something to be mastered. Too many people drag themselves through their hours, complaining about time, wishing the day would pass. But each day is life in miniature. To waste a day is to waste life itself. To live one day fully, with passion, with focus, with gratitude, is to taste the life you have always dreamed of. And if you can do it once, you can do it again. That repetition is what creates greatness. When you understand that the way you live one day is the way you live your life, everything changes. Procrastination disappears because you know that waiting is losing. Excuses fade because you realize that every excuse is shaping your destiny. Distraction loses its power because you know that your attention is building your future. Suddenly, today is no longer ordinary. It is sacred, it is powerful, it is the very fabric of your life. So rise with intention, live with purpose, treat this day as though it is your entire life, because in many ways it is. If you can master today, if you can win its battles, if you can use its hours with discipline and gratitude, then you have mastered the secret of life itself. And when you repeat that mastery over and over, day after day, you will not just have lived, you will have created a life worth remembering. Success is not built in years, it is built in the discipline of a single day repeated. When most people think about success, they imagine some grand future, something so far away that it almost feels untouchable. They imagine the wealth, the recognition, the freedom, the fulfillment, and they think it takes years, even decades, to get there. But the truth is, it doesn't take years. It doesn't take decades. It takes one day, lived with discipline, repeated over and over until success has no choice but to appear. The reason so many never achieve their dreams is because they misunderstand time. They believe that one day of discipline doesn't matter, that one day of effort is too small to make a difference. So they postpone, they procrastinate, they wait for the perfect moment to begin. And yet while they wait, someone else is quietly repeating discipline each day. Someone else is stacking effort on top of effort. Someone else is building a foundation brick by brick. Years later, the difference is clear. The one who waited is still waiting. The one who acted is living their dream. Discipline is not about doing something huge once in a while. It is about doing something meaningful every single day, even when it feels small, even when no one is watching, even when it seems like progress is invisible. Imagine a drop of water falling on stone. One drop does nothing, 10 drops do nothing, 100 drops still nothing. But over time, the stone begins to change, not because of one drop, but because of the relentless repetition of thousands. Discipline works the same way. Alone, one disciplined act may seem insignificant. Repeated daily, it reshapes your entire life. Think about this. You don't become healthy in one workout, but if you commit to moving your body every single day, your health transforms. You don't become wise in one book, but if you read a few pages every day, your mind expands beyond imagination. You don't become wealthy by saving once, but if you save and invest consistently, wealth becomes inevitable. Every extraordinary result you admire is built on ordinary actions repeated with discipline. Success is never an accident. It is always the harvest of daily habits. But here's the challenge: repetition is boring. Discipline is not glamorous. That's why most people give up. They want excitement, novelty, instant results. They want to see transformation in days, not years. And when they don't see it, they quit. But the secret is this: discipline is like planting seeds. You water them daily, but nothing seems to happen. Days pass, weeks pass, and the soil still looks the same. But beneath the surface, roots are growing. The foundation is being built. Then suddenly, one day, the first green shoot breaks through. People will call it luck. They will call it overnight success. But you will know the truth. It was not one day. It was every day. Success demands patience because discipline does not reward immediately. It is delayed gratification. It is faith in the unseen. It is believing that every day you give your best, you are building something larger than yourself, even if you cannot yet see the results. Discipline is trusting that your effort matters, trusting that the process works, trusting that the future will reflect the daily decisions you make right now. And let's be clear, discipline is not about perfection. It is not about never making mistakes. It is about consistency. If you stumble, you don't quit. If you fall, you rise again. If you miss a day, you return the next day stronger. What breaks people is not failure. It is the decision to stay down. Discipline says, I may have fallen, but I will not stay here. I will keep moving. That is how success is built, not in flawless execution, but in relentless persistence. Look at history. Every inventor, every leader, every artist, every champion became who they were not through sudden inspiration, but through disciplined repetition. The scientist runs thousands of failed experiments before making a discovery. The athlete spends years training every day before winning one medal. The writer fills hundreds of pages before creating a masterpiece. Greatness is nothing more than ordinary effort done consistently, long enough to produce extraordinary results. The danger is that discipline doesn't feel powerful in the moment. It feels small, it feels ordinary, but the future is being shaped in those ordinary moments. Discipline compounds, just like money invested daily. A small effort today doubles tomorrow, triples next week, multiplies next year. Suddenly, you are standing on a mountain built from the bricks of daily discipline, while others are still wandering at the base, waiting for the perfect moment that never comes. Think of a person who chooses discipline in health. Each day they move, they eat with intention, they rest properly. One day doesn't matter, but after months and years, their body transforms. They carry energy, strength, and confidence. People admire them, but forget that every day was a choice to live with discipline. The same is true in business, in relationships, in personal growth. It is not the big things, it is the repeated small things. This is why discipline is more valuable than motivation. Motivation comes and goes, rising with emotion, fading with circumstances. Discipline remains. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. Discipline is showing up when you are tired, when you are uninspired, when the results are invisible. Discipline is the anchor that keeps you steady when storms come, when distractions tempt you, when doubt whispers in your ear. And when you repeat discipline daily, success is inevitable, not because of luck, but because of cause and effect. So ask yourself, what are you repeating daily? What disciplines are you practicing? Because repetition works both ways. If you repeat laziness, you build failure. If you repeat excuses, you build regret. If you repeat distraction, you build a wasted life. But if you repeat discipline, you build success. Every day is a rehearsal for your future, and your future will mirror the habits you are rehearsing right now. Imagine if you truly committed to living one disciplined day. You wake up with purpose. You use your time with focus. You move your body, feed your mind, nurture your spirit, and work with full effort. Then you repeat it tomorrow, and again the next day, and again the day after that. Within weeks, you would feel different. Within months, your life would look different. Within years, you would be unrecognizable. Not because of a single breakthrough, but because of daily discipline. The beauty of this truth is that success is no longer overwhelming. You don't need to worry about 10 years from now. You don't need to predict the future. You only need to master today. Can you live one disciplined day? If the answer is yes, then all you need to do is repeat it. And repetition is power. Repetition builds skill. Repetition builds strength. Repetition builds character. Repetition builds success. This is why success is not built in years. It is built in the discipline of a single day repeated. Every year of success is nothing more than 365 days of discipline stacked together. Every decade of greatness is nothing more than 650 days of discipline lived consistently. And the good news is, you already have what it takes to live one day with discipline. You already have the power. The question is not whether you can do it. The question is whether you will repeat it. So don't look at years, don't look at decades, look at today. What will you do with this day? Will you waste it with excuses? Or will you fill it with discipline, knowing that one day repeated will build your success? The choice is yours, and whatever you choose, remember this: you are not building years, you are building days. And those days, repeated with discipline, will shape the life you dream of. One day of clarity, courage, and purpose can ignite a lifetime of greatness. Imagine this for a moment: your entire life could pivot, not because of 100 choices, not because of years of wandering, but because of a single day where everything inside you shifts. A single day where you see clearly, act courageously, and live with intention. That day can become the foundation of everything that follows. That day can become the day you look back on and say, "That was the day my life changed forever." Clarity is power. Most people drift through life clouded by confusion, unclear about what they want, unclear about who they are, unclear about what matters. They chase distractions, follow the crowd, and settle for less than they deserve, not because they lack potential, but because they lack clarity. When you don't know where you are going, every path looks tempting, and in the end you arrive nowhere. But when you find clarity, when you know your vision, your values, your why, the world transforms. Suddenly, decisions become simple, distractions lose their power, you no longer waste energy wandering, you direct it, you focus it, you channel it into what matters most. That is the gift of clarity. It doesn't give you more time, it makes the time you already have meaningful. It doesn't give you more strength, it makes the strength you already have powerful. Clarity takes your scattered energy and turns it into a laser. One clear day, one day of truly seeing what you want and who you are, can erase years of drifting. That is why one day of clarity can ignite greatness. But clarity alone is not enough, because once you see the path, once you know what must be done, fear will appear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of leaving comfort behind. That is why courage is the second ingredient. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is action in spite of it. Courage is standing at the edge of the unknown and stepping forward anyway. Courage is saying yes to growth, yes to risk, yes to possibility, even when your hands shake and your voice trembles. Without courage, clarity dies as a dream. Without courage, you see the path but never walk it. One day of courage can change everything. The day you decide to speak your truth, even when your voice shakes. The day you decide to leave behind what is safe but empty. The day you choose to chase the vision that scares you because it is bigger than you. Courage transforms ideas into action. It takes the invisible and makes it visible. It takes clarity and gives it legs to walk. And then comes purpose. Purpose is what fuels courage. Purpose is what gives clarity its weight. Purpose is the fire that keeps you moving when the journey is long and the obstacles seem endless. When you live with purpose, every day has meaning. Every challenge has value, every victory has depth. Purpose is bigger than pleasure, bigger than comfort, bigger than success itself. Purpose is the reason you rise each morning, the reason you fight through hardship, the reason you refuse to give up. One day of purpose can alter the entire trajectory of your life, because when you know why you are here, when you know what you stand for, when you know what legacy you want to leave behind, every choice changes. Small habits change, relationships change, the way you spend your hours changes, and the sum of those hours becomes the sum of your life. Clarity, courage, and purpose, these three together are unstoppable. And here's the miracle: you don't need years to discover them. You don't need decades of wandering. Sometimes it takes just one day, one defining day where you decide enough is enough. One day where you sit in silence long enough to hear the truth within you. One day where you make a decision that scares you but excites you. One day where you commit not just to live, but to live on purpose. That day, that one day, becomes the spark that lights a fire too powerful to extinguish. Think about the stories we admire, the moments where someone went from ordinary to extraordinary. Almost always, there is a single day, a single decision, a single act of clarity, courage, and purpose that changed everything. The day a person said, "I will not live like this anymore." The day they chose to rise instead of stay down. The day they started the journey that would lead them to greatness. Years later, people celebrate their success, but it all started with one day. Greatness is not reserved for a chosen few. It is not an accident. It is the result of choices, and sometimes those choices converge into a single defining day. Imagine waking tomorrow with absolute clarity about what matters most, with the courage to take action toward it, and with a purpose so deep that nothing could stop you. Do you think your life would ever be the same again? Of course not. That one day would be the beginning of everything. But here is the truth. That day does not arrive by accident. You create it. You choose it. You decide that today is not just another day to be wasted, not just another day to go through the motions, but a day of clarity, courage, and purpose. You decide that this is the day you silence the noise, face the fear, and align your life with what truly matters. That decision can turn an ordinary day into the most important day of your life. And once you live one day like that, you realize the power of what's possible. Because if you can live one day with clarity, courage, and purpose, then you can live two. If you can live two, then you can live a week. If you can live a week, then you can live a month. And soon, your life is not defined by confusion, fear, or emptiness. It is defined by clarity, courage, and purpose. That is how greatness is built, not in faraway years, but in the days you choose to live fully. So ask yourself, what would one day look like if you lived it with clarity? What would it look like if you lived it with courage? What would it look like if you lived it with purpose? Visualize it, feel it, because that day is possible, and that day could be today. The power is in your hands. One day of clarity, courage, and purpose can ignite a lifetime of greatness.